Hey A&Pers, this is Dr. Jones checking in. This is A&P II Lab 2 video, I think 8. So we are working on the veins. We already did the veins of the head and neck, supplying the superior vena cava to the right atrium. So now let's start at the feet and move up the leg and then do the abdominal veins, and we will follow everything that supplies the inferior vena cava. If we finish and wire person here within 10 minutes, then we will do the same thing with the flat Stanley in the background. So first we have the digital veins. Again, if you're taking my lab test, add digital veins to your list. And also the dorsal venous arch. So it's the same thing as the dorsal arch except made of veins. And some models you can see it, this model is mostly just mangled, but if you see an arch here, that's the dorsal venous arch. So now we're going to follow the deep veins that match the deep arteries. So if we go backwards, because the blood supply, of course, the veins will go up. If we go backwards, we've got the abdominal aorta, the common iliac vein, the internal iliac vein, the external iliac vein, the femoral vein, the popliteal vein, anterior tibial vein, posterior tibial vein, and fibular vein. So let's start here. I like to start the fibular vein because it's visually distinctive, because it's cut for whatever reason, which is kind of weird, but that's okay, sure, going with it. So the fibular vein joins the posterior tibial vein. So let me spell this for you really quickly. Fibular is F-I-B-U-L-A-R, and tibial is T-I-B-I-A-L. So tibial, posterior tibial vein, and that meets with the anterior tibial vein on page 16, but I think we're working on page 17, because that's where there you go, fibular vein, and the anterior and posterior tibial veins, and that spelling matters. So then the posterior tibial meets with the anterior tibial, and the next section here goes behind the knee, so that will be the popliteal vein, and then up next to the femur is the femoral vein, and we'll switch names at the zip ties, because why not? In the body is a distinct reason why you switch and when you switch, but outside of those visual cues, we're going with zip ties. So this is the external iliac vein until it meets with the internal iliac vein. And then we have the left and right common iliac vein until they get together and make the abdominal aorta. And the abdominal aorta goes, did I just say abdominal aorta? Oh my goodness. Okay, so the left and right common iliac vein make the inferior vena cava, and that enters the right atrium at the back, so inferior vena cava. Okay, so now let's do the superficial veins of the leg. This great big medial vein, superficial vein, is the great saphenous vein, S-A-P-H-E-N-O-U-S, and this little one is the small saphenous vein. And then let's see, where are we? We need a stick now. Okay, so tell me again. Internal iliac, external iliac, and then when they join, they make the common iliac. When the two common iliacs, y'all say it right because I said it wrong. That's right, the inferior vena cava. Excellent. Now, these that are sticking straight out, running with the superior mesenteric artery is the superior mesenteric vein. Running with the inferior mesenteric artery is the inferior mesenteric vein. The renal veins run with the renal arteries on both sides, right there. And then the gonadal veins, there's the right, and there's the left, I'm sorry, I'm not pointing at it. Here's this tiny one is the right gonadal vein, and the left gonadal vein, which actually connects to the left renal vein and not the inferior vena cava. Okay, so very important thing about the superior and inferior mesenteric veins. If you follow these up, and I need to point with my stick and then focus it in the camera. Okay, inferior mesenteric vein, superior mesenteric vein, it meets with the splenic vein. Remember, the spleen would be right here if we had one. Meets with the splenic vein and the gastric vein and goes, sorry, I lost the camera, up into the liver. Let me point, there we go. So this is the common hepatic artery, and this running with it is the hepatic portal vein, P-O-R-T-A-L. You may recall in the endocrine system, we had a tiny hypophyseal portal system. And the thing about a portal system, instead of going heart, capillary bed, heart, which is our common pattern, it goes capillary bed, capillary bed. So heart, capillary bed, capillary bed. And the portal vessels are the vessels between the two capillary beds. So it turns out your entire digestive system is a giant portal system. So all of the blood from the superior and inferior mesenteric arteries, the veins, the splenic veins, the gastric veins, all of those nutrient-rich, deoxygenated bloods from your entire digestive system meet in that hepatic portal vein and enter the bottom of the liver with the common hepatic artery. So this blue with the hepatic artery is not the hepatic vein. It's the hepatic portal vein. And the liver, which is a giant filter, filters all of that blood and detoxifies it. And then, let me flip this around on the back. See that tiny blue wedge? Tiny blue wedges right here and right here with a little 45 on it going into the inferior vena cava. Well, that's your hepatic vein carrying that filtered blood from the portal system into the inferior vena cava, into the right atrium. So let me back this out and give you a little perspective of where you are in the body. So red and blue going up into the liver are the common hepatic artery and the hepatic portal vein. And then blue coming out the back of the liver is the hepatic vein into the inferior vena cava up to the right atrium of the heart. Okay, what else do we need to do? Did we do all of that? Gonadal veins? Yeah, we talked about those when we did the heart. Okay, so let's find these things on the flat Stanley. Pick up the stick. Off we go to the wild blue yonder. All right, let's start at the feet, because I don't think we've done that here. So we've got the digital veins and the dorsal venous arch. Let's see, the major vein is cut here, but we do have the great saphenous vein and the small saphenous vein. And then we have the external, the left and right external iliac veins that meet with the left and right internal iliac veins to make the left and right common iliac vein. When the left and right common iliac vein get together, that's the inferior vena cava. And let's see, do we have, got gonadal arteries, but I don't see any gonadal veins. We do have the left and right renal veins. So here you have the superior and inferior mesenteric veins, splenic vein, and they all come together to make the hepatic portal vein that runs with the common hepatic artery. So on this model, the portal system is purple. So we have a purple portal system. So hepatic portal vein is purple, hepatic artery is red, and then these blue veins leaving the liver going into the inferior vena cava that goes directly into the right atrium. These blue are the hepatic veins. Oof. And I think that finishes it. I think those are all the terms for Lab 2. So thank you for your patience. This has been Dr. Jones with A&P II Lab 2 video 8 maybe. And we've done the blood typing, the blood cells. We did the arteries, the veins, the heart. Yeah, I think we've got it. We even got the, what's the blue stripe? Superior sagittal sinus. Nice. So this has been Dr. Jones. Thank you as always for tuning in. Education must go on. Dr. J out.